It's our good pal, Paul Russo. Paul, being around the Tampa Bay area, one of the names when it comes to baseball here in the Bay, of course, Hit Factory, Tampa Catholic, and just an all around great guy. What's going on, brother? How are you?
Everything's good, brother. How are you?
I'm doing well, and I reached out, just letting everybody know, full transparency, reaching out to Paul last night about trying to get in contact with Joe Molloy. And, Joe's got a lot of, you want to make sure that you put everything in order before you start making the rounds. It's easy to make a couple of quotes to Mark Topkin, but hopefully we can get him on, as we get closer, if this thing comes to fruition.
No, I think that'll be possible without a doubt. I think a quote is a quote, but an interview is a little bit different.
You got that right, buddy. So, a lot of people may know the name of Joe Molloy, right? Especially here in the Tampa Bay area where the Yankees were so prevalent. We have George Steinbrenner High School here. But just let everybody know first, like how you met Joe, how you come to befriend him over the years.
Well, actually, Joe was my little league coach at Wellswood when I was a kid, and
oh, I lost you, brother. This happens every time. Guess what happened? Paul just got a phone call. StreamYard's got to fix it where, and I have to like kick the people out. Oh, wait, he's back. Yes.
So through
there you're back. You're back. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. So through the years, Joe was my little league coach, and as I went through high school, college, we were always stayed in touch. And then when I got into professional baseball, I got drafted, of course, by the Twins. When I became a free agent, Joe wanted me to play for the Yankees, so that's what happened. And he was not only my little league coach, but then he was my boss. So. We've known each other since I was 12 years old. So it's a long friendship.
So a guy like Joe Molloy, we know what he was able to do for the Yankees there in the 90s. Like,
right.
What about his baseball acumen, Paul? How did he impact the Yankees' success there when he was there?
Well, you gotta look at when Mr. Steinbrenner was, I guess, outlawed from Major League Baseball or banished.
Right.
Joe was, one of the guys that was leading the charge. And,
right.
I'm not embarrassed to say that I think a part of the Yankees' success was because of Joe and the people he hired around him, the Tampa community that was hired around him to help run the Yankees in Mr. Steinbrenner's absence.
Do you think that's why there's such a kind of a deep embedded love? And I'm not talking about guys like myself that moved from New York, but I feel like for certain people, like my buddy that grew up in Tampa, he goes, yeah, Steinbrenner gave us $20,000 one year to go play in the AAU national championships in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Like, is Joe Molloy one of those reasons why people in the Tampa area that may not even be from New York have that kind of love and affinity, and at the very least,
I think that's part of it. I think that's part of it for sure. I can tell you when I was at Mary Help a Christian and I was helping build the baseball facility there for Father Steve, the Steinbrenner family cut me a check for $25,000 to help build everything over there.
Wow.
So I don't know if it's because Mr. Steinbrenner lived in Tampa. I'm sure that's part of it. But, Joe, when he became general partner and became really involved with the Yankees, they hired a lot of Tampa people. And that helped, I believe, the Yankee legend grow in Tampa because more interest of people that were local. And then, of course, when they moved spring training here, it kind of blew up, you have the most storied franchise in baseball history is now in your hometown.
What do you think he would do something similar like that? Because obviously it's him. There's a couple other names, investors. And part of the reason why people are not too thrilled with a guy like Stu Sternberg is because it just doesn't seem like, well, I asked him myself years ago, the whole Montreal thing, do you think there's a disconnect between the community and the ownership of the Rays? And he said, no. If Joe Molloy and his group ends up doing this, I feel like that would be a key part to making this thing successful, is kind of investing and involving people in the Bay Area. Do you agree with that sentiment?
I agree with that statement. I would never, ever speak for Joe, ever.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But I would tell you that knowing Joe the way I've known him for the last 40 years, he's a Tampa guy, and I would suspect that he would hire Tampa people around him to bring the community closer. I don't think you have to be from Tampa. You're not from Tampa. Everybody loves you here. You know what I mean? But he would know how to not only build the organization, but make it community friendly and make people fall in love with the Rays the way they do the Yankees.
What is it about? We'll get to Joe in a second, but do you feel there is a disconnect? Because I feel when people ask me about baseball, I feel like it's such a
it's like we talked about this before. I think I think being in St. Pete, and you and I have gone back and forth. If you're in New York, people travel from all over to go see the Yankees. Well, I think more people would travel to go see the Rays if they were winners like the Yankees. That's the first thing. But I think, the Rays have contributed money to local ballparks in Tampa. So, they've given out free uniforms for kids and all that kind of stuff. So, but I think nothing connects an organization to a community like winning. Right. Nothing. The Bucks are right here. If the Bucks suck, nobody's going to go watch them play.
Yeah, the games were getting blacked out.
Exactly right. Games were getting blacked out a few years ago. But Tom Brady came. What happened? Everybody loves the Bucks because they're winners. Baker Mayfield's here. They're winning. People love them. They go see them. The Rays will undoubtedly be loved if they win. And, you can small market. Yeah. You can talk about, well, they're in the playoffs. Going to the playoffs is not winning. That's going to the playoffs. Winning is bringing home a trophy. That's what winning is. And, a lot of people think that's harsh. A lot of people think that, there's still success when you don't win. Yeah, but you're still losing.
Right.
And the object is to win. That's what you play for. And when this community, when the Tampa Bay Rays win, they will be beloved by everybody. And you can call it bandwagon people, you can say that, but when they win, and it doesn't have to be World Series when you talk about community. When they win, people will be excited about them. Absolutely.
So Paul, before I let you go, what kind of person is Joe Molloy? Because people are going to want to know, they're like, just right now, a lot of Rays fans, they're probably disillusioned with baseball ownership, and they may know the name, they may not know him as well, but just from your interaction, just for knowing him for over 4 decades, what kind of guy is Joe Molloy?
Well, personally, he's loving and caring. He was not only was he the general partner of the Yankees, but he was a school teacher. He dealt with kids for a lot of years, youth baseball coach. As a businessman, shrewd, you have to be. But I could tell you, I love Joe. He's a great man. I think he would do great things if he was part of that group that could bring Tampa here. I just think he could do a lot of great things for the Tampa Bay Rays or any other organization there is.
Yeah, and you think he could make it work because it looks like if they do this, the stadium will stay in St. Pete, but it'll be Tampa-based investors. Do you think it would work? Do you think him and his group would be able to find a way to make it work in St. Pete?
I think so. I think there's so many ways to make it work, with travel, transportation, that type of stuff. To a lot of avenues that you could explore. But I think the biggest thing, and because you're there all the time, if you win, the old movie saying, if they build it, if you build it, they will come. If you win, they will come. People will show up, and there'll be a great community influence on that.
He's Paul Russo. Go check him out. Hit Factory, TC, all the great things. My friend, I appreciate you. I love you. Give my love to the family, and we'll talk soon, pal.
All right, brother. Love you. Thank you.
You got it, man.